So good, so good, so good.
Everything you want for summer is at Nordstrom Rack stores now and up to 60% off. Stock up and save on the brands you love like Vince, Sam Edelman, Frame, and Free People. Join the Nordy Club to unlock exclusive discounts, shop new arrivals first, and more. Plus, buy online and pick up at your favorite Rack store for free. Great brands, great prices. That's why you Rack.
You said this place was steps from the water.
We just haven't found the steps yet.
How much did we save?
Enough.
Enough to get lost?
Or you could book a stay with Hilton.
Welcome to your oceanfront room, just steps from the water.
The Hilton sale is on now. Book on Hilton.com or the Hilton app and save up to 20% to get the stay you expected. When you want savings, not surprises, it matters where you stay. Hilton, for the stay.
Some things are impossible to miss, like an elephant in the room, or a bull in a china shop, or this season's amazing offers, brought to you by PayPal. Discover offers from hundreds of brands like Viator, Allbirds, and Tory Burch right in the PayPal app. Save an offer before you check out with PayPal and earn unlimited rewards. Download the PayPal app to get started. Terms and exclusions apply. See paypal.com/rewards terms.
So welcome everybody to the Premier League Cricket Show. And once again, it's now week 5 and we're back well and truly up and running. 32 leagues on the go, 170 plus matches at the weekend. It was a rain-affected one, though, unfortunately. I'm sure there will be mention of the rain during the whole of this recording, but there was still 53,000 plus runs scored, 34 centurions, and as it was pointed out to me by my colleague very quickly at the weekend, 5 double hundreds. Mr. Newsom, can we remember 5 double hundreds?
I've done some digging and I can't find, and this is not hard and fast, but I can't find a time when we had 5 double hundreds on one weekend. I think that's probably an ECB Premier League record. I'm going to do a bit more digging and try and download all the history of ECB Premier Leagues again, because things change and people update scorecards. Yeah. But yeah, I think that's the highest number of double hundreds in one weekend. I mean, we've had seasons with less than 5 double hundreds, and so to have 5 on a weekend is absolutely remarkable. I mean, absolutely. I'm feeling sorry here for Samit Patel. You know, the poor man. He's only got 200, thinking, oh, that's going to be top of the charts this week. 200 off 109 balls, and that was the 5th highest score of the weekend.
Exactly. Yeah, it's ridiculous when you start seeing some of the names that were on there. You know, some very familiar names on the top list, which we'll come to later for us. And if a 200 or Richie Oliver down at Reigate, or mate Stephen Hurst, mate, 201 not out. You made 4th place, Richie. Big deal. It is kind of ridiculous. What I am minded to say, though, we've got a recording from a week or two ago when our friend Mr. Matt Taaffe said that the 250 by Jaden Draper would not be beaten. Blake Nikitaras, 235 not out. That 250 could go this year, mate.
Well, I mean, based on this, yeah. So Blake Nikitaras, first grade cricketer from St George in Sydney, obviously New South Wales, Sydney Big Bash cricketer, useful player. So he's come in overseas, not been here particularly long. I'm just seeing how many games he's played. That's his 5th innings. He's currently sitting on average of 92, which is helped by his 235 not out. He not helped in that average by a Hearts Premier League duck on his Premier League debut. So he's gone duck on his Premier League debut and then 235 not out. So he's made up for his duck for Flitwick there. But yeah, it's a really interesting start to the season in terms of double hundreds. Could this be a record-breaking run-scoring season?
We'll keep a very close eye on that. I think what I found incredibly resilient, in particular when it came to Blake's innings as well. If you look at the ball by ball, he scored 2 sixes in the last over to take them over the line for not only the highest run scorer by any way in the league this week, the highest run chase and the highest number of runs for any game in the country. So basically, it was the Blake Nikitaras show at the weekend. So there's some going there. To chase down what they did at Flitwick, and they only came up, I think, a year or two ago to the Premier League. So a really good chase. And to have 722 runs between them and West Hearts, that's a day's cricket. When you consider what the weather did in certain parts of the country, you see that going on. Madness, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you've got two lads for West Hearts, Zayed Faisal and Nafi Sheikh, 154 and 132, feeling pretty pleased with themselves when they put up 359 for three.
Yeah.
And then obviously Blake's come in and just won the game on his own, basically. He's not had a huge amount of help. He's got 235 at the top, and then 6, 4, 9, 18, 8. And then Joe Lowe stayed with him for a good period, 62 off 55 balls before he was out. And then we got a duck straight after that. So, yeah, it was looking a little bit dicey. And like I say, they won it, as you said, they've won it off second to last ball of the innings. So, yeah, he's just, when you get your overseas in and when you get a big name, first grade cricketer, state cricketer like Blake in, then that's what you're getting. You're wanting him to deliver in these situations, and boy, has he done it. So congratulations to him. That's
Absolutely. He's certainly got what you pay for there without a shadow of a doubt. Now, we're going to be talking to Mr. Taaffe from Cric somewhere down the line as well. He's not with us to record live today, but when you listen to this episode, you will hear what Cric have been up to.
Through the magic of radio.
Absolutely, through the magic of radio, podcasting and me editing. But we are going to, starting this week, talk about 4 leagues each week now. With the utmost respect to you all out there, we've got 33 leagues to keep an eye on. You can't talk about everything all the time, but we're going to highlight 4 leagues. But before we do that, I just want to highlight one of the most remarkable games I've seen the weekend. And, whilst we talk about 4 leagues, there's always going to be other bits and pieces. So the fastest finishing game across the whole country, the Premier Leagues at the weekend, was the game between Ger Lane and Pudsey St Lawrence, where Ger Lane bowled out for 115 and Pudsey St Lawrence won it by 5 wickets, 117 for 5 off 19.4 overs. And you look at that and just go, yeah, game that's lasted 40-something overs, all over, well done, boys, because actually there was a lot of rain around the Bradford League. However, that does not tell the story of the entire game. And when we looked into the depths of it, Pudsey St Lawrence won by 5 wickets, but they were actually 4 for 1. Yeah, they'd lost 4 wickets in their first 2 overs. When I then took a further step back here and looked at the end of the Ger Lane innings, we had this ridiculous situation where Ger Lane had lost 2 wickets and not scored any runs in the final 7 or 8 balls of their innings. And if you look across the whole lot, there was a 4 over period where 7 wickets fell for 10 runs across both innings. Now, was there a cloud all of a sudden over Ger Lane for about 4 overs? The ball was hooping left, right. Something mad's happened there. I mean, Ger Lane were being bowled out cheap, but can you imagine what the noise on the ground was like when you've got them 4 down?
It's just awful. It just fills you with, that gives you the shivers, trepidation and other such words. You're batting, 6?
Yeah.
You've got your feet up, haven't you? Yeah, you've got a cup of tea, you've got your feet up, no panic, you haven't got any of your gear on. You might have an indication of where your spikes are or whatever, but you're in cup of tea mode and you're in panic stations to get out there on you. So I think that they've done well, because obviously from that point, they rescued it, didn't they? And got the job done actually relatively comfortably in the end.
Yeah, they made it look really easy in the end, but actually, if you look behind the scenes, sometimes these scorecards are just mad, aren't they?
Yeah. Josh Preachy 59 and Ankit Sharma 34 just got the job done very quickly. But yeah, it was 0 off 4 balls, 0 off 2 balls, 0 off 2 balls, 0 off 1 ball. Top 4. So yeah.
Bradford League madness. But the first league that we're going to talk about this weekend has got an even crazier scorecard. And it's the Yorkshire North League. And our friends at Woodhouse Grange, let's just say they made a complete and utter, what would you call it? They changed the rules, shall we say, slightly. But they were nothing illegal, but they did what they had to because they saw what the weather was coming. And the scorecard between Stamford Bridge and Woodhouse Grange, Hugh, have you ever seen anything like it?
Yeah, you sent this to me on, was it Sunday morning or it might have been Saturday night? It's an interesting one, isn't it? We've got a match abandoned for starters, which sort of throws a spanner in the whole works. But yeah, Woodhouse Grange, 44 overs, 300 all out. It's a very even number, that, isn't it?
Yeah, fair enough.
And you look into the scorecard, Tom Wilson, 40, run out. Toby Finlay retired out on 201. There's our 201 of 131. Chris Bilton, 41, not out. And then retired out, naught, retired out, naught, retired out, naught, retired out, naught, and so on all the way down the card. So essentially everybody else retired out. So it was a declaration, but declarations aren't allowed.
In that league, declarations are not allowed. So Lee Goddard obviously said to his boys, guess what? We're retiring you all out. There's big clouds coming in. We need to bowl.
And like, why aren't declarations allowed? I mean, it's part of cricket, isn't it? Being able to declare. So it's just, if you want to, switch things around and give, I mean, it makes an interesting game of things. It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. So good on all the lads for getting a retired out naught and wrecking their averages. But yeah, and then obviously the rain did come in. Stamford Bridge 55 for 3 off 19, match abandoned, points equally shared. So
after all that effort, they share 4 points each. I mean, we go on about it, but it just shows you the ridiculousness of the types of different rules we've got across the country in some cases. I mean, let me put it this way to you. What if Woodhouse Grange had got off to a flyer and after 20 overs they were 300 for none? Could happen. And then after 30 overs they'd got to say 400 for none and thought, do you know what? We've got enough here. They're not allowed to declare.
No, it doesn't make a huge amount, particularly when there's weather about. And obviously, the Yorkshire Prem North is not exactly the Costa del Sol, is it? So there's always going to be a bit of weather around. So yeah, but I mean, rules is rules, and I suppose these are the little test cases where you look at it. A rule that might have been there for 25 years, and everyone's going, "Oh, that's a bit stupid, isn't it?"
That's a bit daft.
So a bit of common sense, and then it gets changed, and then we're off and running. So maybe this will be the game that everyone goes, let's just up declarations, because if you can, I mean, like you say, you can declare. It's quite an entertaining the 43rd over. Actually, I know that everyone retired out on one. We all had one ball. Which is interesting. Everyone got a ball to retire out on, so they all had to go out there. You can't retire out on that ball.
The question I want to know is, did they actually pad up and actually go out,
I don't know,
or did they just say, put one ball in, put one ball in? Not that it matters either way.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, so but I mean that if they hadn't declared, then the 250 was in danger, wasn't it? Toby Finlay very nobly retired himself out on 201. So.
Yeah. All we can say is Toby Finlay, 201. You're in the very top echelons of this week's run scorers, being the third highest in the country. Well done. You got 4 points for it, mate, unfortunately. So what else can you see in the Yorkshire North League, Mr. Newsom?
Yorkshire Prem North, just going from the top then. I think it was a day to get the game done quickly. Carlton Towers versus Beverley. Carlton Towers batted first, bowled out for 112 in 35 overs. Jacob Cumming 5 for 45. And then Beverley got them done very quickly in just 20 overs, 41 from Jack Steele. Jacob Cumming got a quick 26 as well. So it was a good win for them in inclement weather. There's the Stamford Bridge Woodhouse Grange game. And then Clifton Alliance game was abandoned. Clifton Alliance bowled out for 208 and just shy of 50 overs. Tom Frayne 35, but Joe Thompson 70 was the top scorer. Jack Shutt 5 for 50. And then Harrogate were just starting their innings and just getting going. No wickets down. Match abandoned there. Holsingari, Castleford put up 202. It was at Hull, so I think the weather took a bit longer to get east. So Hull then bowled out in 35 overs for 101. Scott Hopkins for Castleford with 50. Dave Wainwright 3 for 10. Pretty useful bowling figures there.
8 overs.
3 for 10. He's useful, isn't he, Dave Wainwright? And then Knaresborough Sheriff Hutton Bridge. Sheriff Hutton Bridge got the win, 244 in 50 overs. And then looks like it was just enough to constitute a game. Then Knaresborough 92 for 3 in 28. They had a revised target of 116 from their 50, so it's a DLS score, and they weren't able to get there. This is where DLS all gets rather confusing. One more game. It's the York Driffield game. That got abandoned. Driffield 212 in their innings, and York didn't get onto the park. It just didn't happen. So Noah Kelly, 58. Nice to see him in some runs. He's been doing well in twos cricket as well. Did he get a double 100 in twos cricket?
He did.
Noah Kelly? And then Harry Sullivan, 4 for 53. So yeah, match abandoned, points shared there. So that's the Yorkshire Prem North.
Absolutely. And at the top of the table of the Yorkshire Prem North, unbeaten, are the champions, Castleford, with Sheriff Hutton Bridge behind them and Harrogate in third place. And right at the bottom, Hulzingari there have played 4, lost 4, but 22 game season. There's a long way to go yet. But Castleford remain one of the few sides of the country who can say they are unbeaten. And I haven't checked yet, but they might be one of the few champions out there who are unbeaten, because we know quite a lot of them got beaten early doors. Great to see, as you say, people like Noah getting runs. David Wainwright, those figures though, 3 for 10 off 8 overs. I mean, taking the wickets is one thing, but to be that skinny as well, you game on, aren't you, when you got somebody who could do that and wrap one end up completely. Yeah,
he's done all right, hasn't he? Obviously, he's got some first class limited overs experience. He's just a class operator, isn't he? Left arm orthodox. I assume he's still bowling his left arm orthodox. He's not turned to seam all of a sudden in his old age. But yeah, he's just a class act, isn't he? And continues to do the business, and I think will continue for quite some time.
Yeah, most definitely. Let's move on to the second league that we're going to look at this week, which is the Cornwall League. Now, there was weather around in Cornwall, so there is some DLS involved there. But thankfully, only one game abandoned, which is the Wadebridge versus Helston game. Just wasn't enough overs there to constitute a game by the looks of things in the second innings. But the champions last year, Penzance, they've got themselves back on a firm footing with a win, and the skipper Christian Purchase there with 56. What else have you got down there in Cornwall, Hugh?
Yeah, the Penzance game, 200 for 8 in there, 40. Warrington, I assume, got a target there. It's always a bit difficult. Yeah, 46 from 12 overs set, which you'd feel was gettable. It also doesn't feel quite right, does it? But 200 or 40, 46 from 12, I suppose so. Yeah, and didn't happen. They got 42 from 12, so it would have been a very tight finish there. I do feel like these DLSs just don't quite work in Premier League cricket. You do scratch your head. I mean,
Penzance scored 200 off 40 overs, which is 5 and over spot on. So then you've got a target of 3.5 and over. Away you go, boys. Yeah, it doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, they've done really well to win there. Penzance to defend that. It's just a real head scratcher. So yeah, that's where they got the win and got the points. There from the top, we got Grandpound Road. Red Ruth got a full game in from what it looks like. Grandpound Road, or not quite actually. I think it was a reduced target there, but not much. 133 all out in 41 Grandpound Road, and then Red Ruth 124 for 3. We've got a revised target of 69 from 30 overs apparently, but they've ended up on 124. So I don't know. Well, I don't know. I'm not sure what's gone on there. But anyway, Red Ruth got the win. I think maybe the revised targets are all a bit wonky. And then Callington 254 for 4 in just 29 overs. Chris Dent 71 off 30. He's useful as Chris Dent, isn't he? Nice bloke.
He's not bad, that lad.
Yeah. 71 and 30 balls for Callington. Camborne had a DLS target to try and get, and 106 for 6 off 23 overs wasn't enough. Chris Dent's destructive innings, shall we say, doing the business for them. Jamie Goldsworthy 2 for 38 for Camborne. Ben Ellis 2 for 26 for Callington. St Austell put up. St Austell had a target set 104, and they got it in 23 overs after St Just put up 141 in 50 overs. Gary Bone 3 for 23, keeping things tight. And then Nadira Baliseria, if that's how I pronounce that, 40 not out off 35 balls. Great knock from him. Rowan Taplin 37 off 60 and saw St Austell home. And then there's an abandoned game as well. Helston 262 for 8. And obviously not enough cricket happened for Wadebridge. They got set 136 off 20 overs. They weren't going to be close, but it got abandoned in time. So pretty comfortable abandonment there with points roughly shared, although just looking at that abandonment there, the points were 13 and 12. So yeah, pretty much as you were with the points. But yeah, so Wadebridge probably feeling a little bit fortunate with the abandonment there. But Stephen Jenkins, 76 off 80, was top scorer for Helston.
Absolutely. So top of the league in Cornwall or Callington on 45 points. Just behind them are St Austell with 44. Redruth 10 more points behind there at 34. 3 games gone. I mean, it's still a long way to go. But when you start to see, Callington are 45, are 16 points ahead of Penzance already. 3 games out of 18. That's quite a big chunk all of a sudden, isn't it? That's 16, 70% of the game's gone. And they've got playing catch-up Penzance now. Now, whether they're going to get it on a roll as they did last year, we will see. But I think what Callington will be really pleased about, in particular there, Hugh, is seeing Chris Dent, a friend of our show a few weeks ago, now starting to get into that, understand what Premier League pitches are about, and start to 70 odd off 30 odd. He's not messing about now, is he?
No, well, I think he probably always knew what Premier League pitches are about, but just dropping back into amateur mode from his pro career. But yeah, he's a serious player, isn't he? And he will be for many a year. So I think that the more innings he gets given, he could be pushing the top of our charts if the weather and the pitch is playable for him. But yeah, no, it's looking good. The Cornwall League, everyone's done all right. It's not there's wins in there, there's losses in there, but there's the points that. No one at the moment is falling too far behind and no one's streaking off into the distance. No,
which is what we like to see, definitely. Now, before we talk to Mr. Taaffe about what's going on at Cric at the weekend, I'm going to bring to your attention another remarkable stat that I think I've picked up from the weekend. Now, I'm dropping this one on you, so get ready. So you think that we might not have had 5 players scoring double hundreds in a Premier League weekend? How about having 3 teams bowled out for exactly the same score in exactly the same league? So in the North East Premier League, we've got Benwell Hill bowled out for 98, Burnmore bowled out for 98, and Chester Street bowled out for 98. Well, I had to go into Play Cricket and check these properly because I thought somebody made a mistake. All 3 bowled out for 98. And games that didn't last very long, as you can imagine. It's not very often we see that, is it, Hugh?
No. There's 98 plays 99, Benwell Hill, Hetton Lions. We've got 98 Shotley Bridge plays Chester Street's 99. Well, disappointingly, Hetton Lions were 2 down and Chester Street were 3 down. That's the shame. And then, CM Harbour put up 197 and Burnmore bowled out for 98. So, that's a rarity, that, isn't it?
Very, very rare, to say the least.
Was the order of the day. Pubs opening early, were they?
Yeah, he just... there was
discount happy hour.
There was a story I saw on social media on Sunday about a game that lasted 50 minutes and there was wondering whether they were going to go watch the FA Cup final. You just don't know.
No one cares about the FA Cup final anymore, do they? I mean, it's...
I don't even know who played it until the morning, to be frank.
No, it's just...
says it all.
Everyone was... it was the defining day of the year when I was a kid and it's just... I couldn't give a toss now, to be honest. And I still quite like my football. I'm not that bothered anymore, but it's just... That was those guys again, was it? Oh, yeah.
And on that note, from 98 all out, we will go over to Mr. Matt Taaffe and let's hear what all the Cric boys have been doing, because we've got a lot of them in the country now, even though weather will have affected them. So here we are with Mr. Matt Taaffe, Cric, and it's time to talk batters. And you've got one of the top 5 there, mate.
Yeah, we do. On debut as well. Moshin Khan for Cornwall, 203 not out off 93. Arrived on Thursday night and double 100 on Saturday.
Thursday night?
Arrived Thursday night and double 100 on Saturday off 93 rocks. So it's not a bad way to introduce yourself, that's for sure. But like you say, we touched base on off air. I just can't get over how many double hundreds are cropping up at the
5
minute.
Across the country. It's just mad, isn't it?
It's scary, but yeah, he's a young 22-year-old Pakistani. He's played his 5 first-class games, so he's eligible to come over as a pro. He's averaging 55 with a bat at a strike rate in 95 in first-class cricket, so he's got some potential and start to life. So interested to see how he goes this summer, really, and then into the winter playing more first-class stuff. But looks like they've got a good one.
Yeah, and the Devon League will have to keep an eye on that one without a shadow.
Definitely. But yeah, more runs. Jamar Hamilton, West Indian for Cowdrey. They've got him on a little 4-week stint before their pro comes over. So he's gone 137 off 87 balls. Vishva Pereira, 136 up north for Workington, up Cumbria way. Musa Twali got a T20 107 not out for Borton Vale off 56. Again, I think that was a Thursday night T20. I think he landed Thursday morning, and he's chalked up 100 fresh off the plane. So, but yeah, another 100 for Will O'Donnell for Dulwich.
Saw
again,
that.
back to back for Will. Angelo Jaya Singh for Epsom, 100 for him. And then we've had a couple of hundreds across the country. Himasha Liagi, Dylan Jayalath, Sharon Fonseca for Denby. But yeah, just runs galore again.
Which, considering the weather at the weekend, we were quite surprised by that. There were still as many centuries as there were fifers, give or take. But to be fair, there was only sixfers. Can you beat a sixfer?
No.
Go on.
I've got 5 for 11 leads us. Shinash Fernando for Droylsden. Jacob Cumming, Beverley Town, back-to-back 5-wicket hauls, 5 for 45.
Yeah.
Johan Madeg for Laceit, 5 for 12. But I've got no 6-fers or 7-fers at all, just 5s knocking about.
Yeah, we think it might be the first week without a 7-fer. And a very few 6-fers, some quite low numbers there. Jacob Cumming at Beverley Town, he's looking strong. Now, that's a strong league he's playing in there to do back-to-back 5-fers. I think he scored 50 odd as well at the weekend. Yeah. He looks one to watch in the Yorkshire North League.
Yeah, proper play. It's his second year. Obviously, he had a nice year last year with a bat and ball. Otago is his state back home in New Zealand, so... yeah, he's definitely one to keep an eye on. Like you say, they've looked like they've got a good one. If you've got a good one, get him back for a second year.
Just keep signing them. Everyone's in the country, bar 1 or 2 for you guys now. Chaos ensues, trying to keep an eye on what all the boys are doing around the country. But I'm guessing with Cric, you guys are now got your focus as well, flipped completely the other way, starting to get players for Australia, New Zealand and wherever over the winter.
Yeah, it's not started. We've gone over 100 placements already for Australia and New Zealand for next winter, so it's very busy. We've got clubs galore seeking players, so if you do fancy it, get in touch and we'll have options for you near on straight away. In all honesty, it's was hoping for a little bit of a die down period after the UK chaos, but it's not. So we've got Aussies and Kiwis just wanting English lads. We've got clubs taking up to like 7 overseas players, which is just ridiculous, really. So, all good fun.
Clubs taking up to 7 players.
Yeah.
And here in this country, we have to go through a little worm of rules to get one, if you're lucky, into a club.
Yeah, they do it right over there. In all honesty,
they give experience.
Right. Yeah, point system. You can have multiple overseas per side with it being a point system. But yeah, we've got clubs taking 2 players for the first team, 2 players for the 2s, 2 players for the 3s, and then throwing in a couple of female overseas for the women's section as well. So it's great to see, really. But yeah, they just do it right over there.
Absolutely. So if you fancy spending the winter in warmer climes, as they say, all you got to do is jump on the cricx.com website, register, and talk to the boys at Cricx, and they'll start and try and look for something for you.
Yeah, simple as that, really. We'll do all the legwork and put your feet up, and we'll come back to you with some good news.
Absolutely. Just joking aside, when I say this, what sort of level of cricket do you think people should be applying from? Are we talking Prem, obviously NCCA, Prem, Div 1, 2, maybe a little bit lower in some cases?
Any ability, really, in all honesty. Like you say, we've got clubs happy to bring overseas players for the lower grades. Your NCCA, your County Twos, your proven Premier League cricketers,
Absolutely.
Your sort of standout players, just because clubs know they're available all year, going into finals cricket. So, but Div 1, Div 2 cricketers, but yeah, your Premier League cricketers are sort of a high in demand, really. So quite fitting.
Yeah.
Get in touch if you're keen, and we'll get you sorted for a winter away in the sun and a bit of cricket.
And as we say to anyone, just like our friend Mr. Dan Lincoln, you're never too old to do this, are you?
That's it.
Absolutely. Thanks, Matt.
All good. Cheers, guys.
So thanks to Taaffe for that update on Cric and what's going on with all those overseas boys over. We've got one or two of them starting to hit form now. The weather's been a bit iffy, let's be honest. We don't know what's going to happen over the next few weeks, although I look at this weekend and think we might be okay for some few days here, which would be quite cool. But talking of good weather, let's go and talk about our favourite run-scoring league in the entire country, because it's always sunny in East Anglia. It just seems to be always sunny. There always seems to be a lot of games played and very few abandonments. And this was exactly the case of the weekend, Hugh. 6 games played, 6 games completed. Okay, maybe there might have been some DLS along the way, I'm not too sure. But they all got played and all got finished.
Of course, yeah, it's East Anglia. And, I want to submit a family apology about East Anglia here, because my dad was always rude about East Anglia. My dad was rude about most people that weren't my dad, but he's passed away now, so I can slag him off in pieces, but he's a bit of a legend, my dad. But he was always rude about people, and we didn't go to East Anglia very much, and I've had 3 trips down there in the last few years, and I do love it down there. So
it's beautiful.
I think it's just wicked. So if anybody wants to give us some money from the East Anglian Tourist Board, Sutton Hoo as well, worth a visit, some lovely spots. So I highly recommend it. So on that note, I shall refer to the East Anglian Premier Cricket League. Is that
I think that works, but I can actually back it up by saying, having never been to East Anglia in my life until last year, I probably dissed it quite a lot without realising how bloody beautiful it was. And the summer show at Cromer Pier, Sheringham up the coast there, Mundersley Beach. Yeah, you're right. East Anglia Tourist Board, they owe us a few quid, I think.
Yeah, let's get in there. So yeah, and of course, oil prices being what they are, it's a lot cheaper to get to East Anglia this year than potentially anything else. So yeah,
absolutely. People are now listening, thinking they are being paid already.
Yeah, that's it. Very good. Just jumping in then. Sudbury Horsford. Horsford got the win. Sudbury 213 for 10, bowled out a little bit before the end of their innings. Horsford wasn't all their own way there. It was a very tight game. Really, really going down to the wire. You've got Darren Batch 52, Bobby East got 48, Ned Overbury 42. So a team effort there. Ryan Finley with 4 for 28 for Horsford. They needed every wicket to get to the end there, and they got there with 3 and a bit overs to go. Neil Hornbuckle 74 off 79. Lewis Denmark 34 off 39 balls. Ben Rees 4 for 28, nearly getting the job done. But just looking at the ball by ball, it was, they had to hang on with 9 wickets for a fair few overs. Then the last couple of overs went for 13, and then a 7 off. We got the big 6 from Denmark. So, yeah, it was a very important knock from Lewis Denmark. Really, really seeing his side home, and meaning Ben Panther didn't have to face many balls before the win was gained. But yeah, great knock from him, and a very important win. Swardston, Mildenhall. Swardston chased down Mildenhall's 211 all out. Matt Allen for Mildenhall 39, John Allen 37, and Casey Carriappa with his bat this time, a 36 off just 15 balls to get him up to a respectable total before they were bowled out. Tom Bailey 4 for 65, and then Swardston got the job done very, very comfortably indeed. Ben Chapman 82, Alfie Cooper 37 not out, and not a huge amount from the bowlers there. They got the runs with 15 overs to go. The weather probably wasn't threatening too much because we were too far east. Whittam versus Copdock. Copdock 236 all out, just shy of their 50 overs. Ollie Bell 62. Ishan Rakesh, 59 off 60. Jamal Richards got 3 for 39. Oscar Burley, 3 for 31. And then Whittam, Sam Greer, 67 off 49 balls, not out. Got the job done for them. They finished with 3 overs to go, 7 down. So it wasn't all plain sailing, but yeah, a relatively comfortable win in the end. Harrison McDonald, 46, and not a huge amount from the bowlers. Wickets spread around between Jamie Bridges, Andy Hamby and Thomas Harper. Ashman and Barton Wanderers, Sawson Babraham. Ashman got the win, 214 all out in just shy of 50. There's a lot of people getting bowled out just shy of 50 over the moment. Ahmed Jamal, 66. Jordan Everett, 50 off 115 balls. Jaden Draper, 32 off 32. And then Ashman bowled out Sawston for 186 in their 50. Ethan Rice got 59. Andrew 40, but nobody else was really able to do a huge amount. Joe Everett, as well as his 50, chipped in with 4 for 33, so it was a really good all-round performance from him. Downham Stowe, Bury St Edmunds. Downham Stowe got the win. They got 258 for 6. Both the Wilcoxes doing very well for them. 66 for Finlay and Ben Wilcox, 50 off just 51 balls. They were chasing down 257. So they finished on 258, 257. Routledge with 86 off 112 and Harry Gallion 55 off 85. But yeah, it was a really good chase for Downham Stowe. They finished 6 down and with 5 and a bit overs to go. Ben Wickedy with 2 for 42 for Bury St Edmunds. Dan Shanks was 2 for 45 as well. So, and then the last game, Ramsey versus Hutton. Ramsey chased down Frinton's 247 for 7. Very, very comfortably indeed. They finished 5 down, but they got it in 35 overs. Ben Saunders, 126 not out off 105 balls. Harry Wilson, 43, were helping him out. And the other batters weren't massively required. For Frinton, Michael Comber, 59 off 89, and Hamad Arshad, 42 not out off 30, but not a huge amount else. And wickets liberally spread around the Ramsey side. So yeah, a really good win for Ramsey. Where does that leave the table?
That leaves the table with Horsford at the top, 5 wins out of 5. Nice. Copdock is second, 4 wins. They're in second place on 107 points, and Mildenhall third. Really pleased to see Ramsey, who've been promoted, and Michael Cafferkey spoke to us pre the start of the season. They're in 8th place, looking as though they could mix it in the Premier League, having come up. I think what's really interesting about 2 things I picked up from that weekend. Number 1, when was the last time we saw nobody score 300 in the East Anglia Premier League? Yeah, lots of 240s, 250s. Only 1 Centurion, Ben Saunders at Ramsey, who that chase of theirs at Frinton, they made that trip, 2.5 hour trip to Frinton, and they obviously wanted to make sure they got back in time with the traffic, because they chased that 247 down to you in 35 overs. You know, there was no messing about on that one. But 1 Centurion and not a single fifer, and no score over 300 in East Anglia.
Every team except one made it to 200 as well. It's just Sawston were the only team that didn't get 200. So it's quite a balanced day, to say the least.
The only team not making it to 200 were last year's champions, who currently Sawston sit in 7th place in the league. But you know, there's 5 games gone in that league, 22 game season. Would you believe next week we're more than a quarter of the way through it, Hugh?
Well, when do they switch to red ball? Would that be next week? Have they got one?
Is it after 6 or 7 games, and then they do a batch and then go to the and will Sawston then push themselves back up the table?
Yeah,
definitely. But,
hey, Mildenhall, you know, Casey Carapper is in there for his red ball game. So Mildenhall's actually sitting
very
third. Looking reasonably well set there for the red ball, because that's, you know, if KC's there and he can bowl long stints, you know, he's going to be very hard to score against. Mildenhall could really kick on this year. They've been sort of flirting with things for a couple of years. Didn't have a great season last year, so can they bounce back this year? Interesting one.
And as we have said once or twice before, we have to mention them, don't we? Great to see the Wilcox boys doing it together. Finlay and Ben scoring together. At least this year we can't say if the Wilcoxes don't get you Freddie Fairy Will, because he's played in the northeast, so he's a bit too far away. But Downham Stowe, they've got themselves into 10th place now. They'd had a bit of an in and out start to the season, but you've got to look. The one thing I would point out on the East Anglia table is we might only be 5 games in, but you've got 2 teams there, Hugh, Sudbury and Frinton, who haven't won a game yet. You don't want to get left behind early doors, do you? And ended up in that playoff situation that they have in East Anglia. It all gets a bit messy, but that Ramsey will be very happy to get their 2.5-hour trip out the way to Frinton. They don't have to do that one again.
That's it. Arthur Wilcox, the other Wilcox up in the northeast, isn't he? And he's going pretty well. He's averaging 40 for Newcastle. So, university calls, and the Wilcox boys doing well no matter where they're playing. Absolutely,
100%. Hey, let's go across the other side of the country for the 4th league we're looking at this week. There was one abandoned game there, which is in North Wales. The game between St Asaph and Gwersylt Park was abandoned without a ball being bowled. Now, bear in mind, over the last couple of weeks, there's been some big scores over in North Wales. Kyle Williams scoring 192 for St Asaph last week, and the week before, Ayush Verma scoring 120 for Menai Bridge. But I'm looking at the scores for North Wales this week, Hugh, and saying, back to normal.
Oh, I'm wondering whether they're all playing through the rain like I was. So, it wasn't pretty for much of the country, and particularly the west. So I'm surprised there's so many games on. Maybe they're just a bit hardier there. The wind's blown it through potentially, but I think there's some soggy pitches knocking about. I don't think some wet cricket balls and some fed up fielders.
Yeah.
So I think that might well have put a literal dampener on things. But the Menai Bridge game at the top there, Northrop got 150. Ellis Colclough with 54 was the only one who really did anything majorly useful for Northrop. Matt Jones, Dion Holden, both with 4-fers, and then Menai Bridge knocked it off pretty comfortably in just 20 overs. Ayush Verma, 65, not off 20 balls, so he got going, and I think maybe he would have gone bigger if he'd have batted first. Terrific knock from him. And Jack Gower, 57 off 49, made it a very, very comfortable day for Menai Bridge. Yeah, Mokhtar Banga bowled out for 135 in 40 overs, and Mokhtar set a revised target of 125 or so, and 125 for 3. They got in 22 overs. Pretty comfortable there. Francois Mostart was the only one who managed to get a score for Banga. He got 31, and then 3 for 30. Looks like he's a South African/Kiwi overseas, played for them quite a few years back, so nice to see him back, and obviously doing really well there, but wasn't able to help Banga with the win. Denby versus Brimbo. Brimbo bowled out for 154 in 32 overs, and then Denby got its 9 down in 33 overs. Pretty interesting game. Just looking at the ball by ball, a fairly big collapse towards the end. Things were looking relatively comfortable. They were 136 for 6 in the 29th over, and then lost 3 very quick wickets to... things were looking relatively comfortable for Denby there in their innings, and then they lost 3 wickets. They were 136 for 6 in the 29th over, and then 3 very, very quick wickets for Brimbo made things tight. Sam Applin was bowling, but Jones and Griffiths got him over the line. A cheeky 4 and a 2 off the last 2 balls did the business for them. Harrison Jones was the player of the match. Denby's Harrison Jones, that is. He got 6 for 39 in just 5.5 overs, and then followed that up with 58 off 74. So a terrific performance from him. One of the best all-round performances of the weekend across the country. We got the abandoned game at Gwersylt Park and St Asaph. Nothing happening there, unfortunately. And then bowled Hawarden Park. Mole put up 179 for 8 in 43 overs. Thomas North, 53, was top scorer. James Martin got 4 for 26 for Hawarden Park. And then they were bowled out in 40 overs for 144, well short of the target. Ian Martin got 29 not out, but nobody else really chipping in. And George Godwin, 6 for 39 off 10 overs, was the match winner for Mould.
Which leaves the table in a very interesting place, where last year's champions Bangor have played 3, lost 3, are stone bottom. And Hugh's favourite club, Menai Bridge, are at the top of the league, having won the first three. But the equal top with Denby, they've also won the first three as well. But it does look a bit topsy-turvy, that league at the moment. And the fact that the weather must have done something really, really strange. It's come across North Wales, only one game abandoned, bit of DLS going on. But by the time we got to Merseyside in the Liverpool district, not a single result. Completely wiped out. I think anyone who got their cricket through at the weekend, they did well in the end. I think it's fair to say.
We could always chip in for the North Wales Tourist Board, couldn't we, as well? Just we've gone, for East Anglian Tourist Board, and if we go northwest and get a bit of money out of them as well, because it's a beautiful place to play cricket. And if you look, the there's never rains, does it? Never.
I can see me clipping all these tourist things up, and it'll be a nice continuous advert, definitely. So, hey, well done to Harrison Jones in particular. 6 for and 50 odd for Denby, leading, as Hugh said, our top all-rounders for the week. But do you want to have a look at those? Let's have a look at those top performances in the batters, shall we, Hugh? We've got 30 plus Centurions, 34 over the weekend. I'm going to just go from the bottom with a couple of them. Very familiar names. Our old friend Sam Young, 137 off 84 balls for Bath. And James Kettleborough, Checkley and Staffordshire captain, 145 off 115. Great innings there, but the top end, mate, I mean, it looks fabulous, doesn't it?
Well, it's when you've got 8 guys over 150, and then 5 of them are getting 200. Yeah, you feel a bit hard done by when you're 9th on 145, aren't you? So, Zaid Faisal with 154 is in 8th place for West Herts against Flitwick. He got that at a meagre, just basically a run of ball. Stephen Bullen, 162 off 149 balls for New Farnley. 14 fours and 9 sixes there. Will Tripconey for Burridge and East Royal. He's got his 162 off 131 balls. Samet at Hoyland Swain has managed his 200 in just 109 balls. 15 sixes. Mind the windows in South Yorkshire, or Middle Yorkshire, West Yorkshire. And then Rich Oliver for Reigate Pride with his 201 against Spencer. He's got that at 178 balls. Toby Finlay, this is the declaration game, 201 off 135 balls for Woodhouse Grange against Stamford Bridge. And Moshin Khan, Cornwall against Sanford in Devon, just 93 balls, 203 not out, 17 sixes. He's had a lot of fun there. And then Blake Nicotera's, 235 not out of 140 balls to win the game for Flitwick. So fantastic performance. What a lot of batting that was. Jumping into the all-rounders, we touched on Harrison Jones at Denby, 58 and 6 for 39. Jamin Shawan, 40 and 6 for 23. And then Joe Ellis Grewell, 33 and 6 for 23 as well. With the top 3 all-rounders, those for Wanstead versus Fives and Heronians, and Jamin for Shepley versus Armitage Bridge in Huddersfield, and then the Denby game there. So that was the top all-rounders. I'll just touch on, I'll do the wicket takers, but the first person I'm going to mention isn't in the top wicket takers, but he did get a 5 for, and it's an ominous 5 for those who obviously know their cricket, because it's Charlie Harmison, 18-year-old son of Steve Harmison, with his first ECB Premier League 5 for. So congratulations to him. I think there's going to be quite a few more to come. Yeah, this game wasn't on the stream, but I have had a sneaky look through at some of Charlie's other performances, and yeah, he looks like he's going to be a handful. He's tall, he's nasty. I don't know how fast he is. It's very hard to tell on the streams, but I can feel he's getting faster. So yeah, there's a few balls that he's getting people out with who are fending off balls nose height and edging to second slip.
And would you say resembles his dad the way he bowls?
I would suggest so. Yeah, it's an interesting. We saw Freddie and his lad. Was it last 2 years ago now? Just the remarkable likeness. Well, this, I wouldn't say it's quite the same. Jumps out at you quite the same. But Steve's did have a very unique bowling action. Yeah. So yeah, it's lovely to see Charlie bowling from afar. I'm not sure I'd be saying that if I was facing him, but yeah. So first Premier League 5 for Ashington. Congratulations to him. Really excited to see where he goes. When you see big, tall, nasty, fast bowlers doing well in Premier League cricket, then that's only a good thing, and let's see where he can go. It just, he just looks like he's got the skill set to maybe go a bit further.
Definitely.
But yeah, so just at the top of the bowlers, we didn't get any seventhers this weekend, but a lot of sixthers. We're quite a long way down with sixthers. We have got 11 sixthers, I think. And top of the charts, James Barker for Middleton in the Sussex League, 6 for 17 against Bognor Regis in just 8 overs. And there's Jaman Chan, we mentioned 6 for 23 off 12, also got 40. Joe Ellis Grewal for Wanstead with a 6 for 23. He also chipped him in runs. Elliot Stadden, 6 for 24 for Cornwall in just 6 overs. There's some quick sixthers going on. Ben Walton was given the luxury of 18 overs for Newton the Willows for his 6 for 27 in the Liverpool district. Malusi Siboto, 6 for 33 off 10 overs. George Valentine, 6 for 33 off 9 overs. He's for Guildford and Radlett, respectively, in the Hearts and Surrey Championship. And George Godwin, we mentioned earlier, for Mould, 6 for 39. Harrison Jones with his 6 for 39, also with his 58. And then Jude Roberts in the Bradford Plem for Morley, 6 for 65 off the luxurious 15 overs. So yeah, lots of sixthers, not many seven, well, not any 7 or above, but plenty of sixthers and a ton of fivers.
I haven't checked, but I think that is our first week without a seventh.
I think so. Yeah.
Yes, they're starting to come now, and even with the rain around there, Hugh, we still got that equal balance of 34 centuries, 32 fifers. It just happened to be that these centuries included 5 double centuries this week, and we're a lot bigger. But the numbers are starting to sort of flatten out around the league. You can just see it. Doesn't matter what the weather does, we get the same.
Yeah, I'm the one thing that's concerning me for the other occupants of the Huddersfield League is if Samet, he's not got a pro gig. I'm not sure what he's doing on Saturdays. Might be doing some sub-pro, I suppose, but on Sundays he might be doing some sub-pro, but on a Saturday he's going to be fresh. And if a fresh Samet Patel is playing every week, I don't think there's going to be many better cricketers in world cricket, never mind in the Premier League. So he didn't. I mean, he fired last year, but he didn't quite fire to this degree. And obviously he had his Derbyshire commitments up until August time. So interesting for the rest of the Huddersfield Cricket League, because he was a class apart when he was a cricketer, wasn't he? He won the Cricketer of the Year 2 or 3 times, did he? At least once. And was just an absolute stalwart for many, many years. So for him to be playing in the Huddersfield League with intent, shall we say, it might be tough to stop. Let's look out for that and see what happens there.
And I think the word intent is the right one, because having been beaten by Newfoundland last weekend in the national knockouts, Hoyle and Swain have gone out and scored a big score on Saturday against Scholes with Samet's 200. Then the following day on Sunday, they've played Barnard Castle in the Yorkshire Champion of Champions tournament. They're there from last year's all the winners of the leagues, and they've won there with a fifer from Max Morley. So it's all of it. You can just see that they're a juggernaut, as you described them a few weeks ago. When they get on a roll and they get the bit between the teeth, they can be quite unstoppable, I think. But Newfoundland found a way to stop them. And Steve Bullen there with 162 for Newfoundland in a game that ended up with rain getting in the way on the back of his 97 not out last week in the national knockout. It just shows that these top class players, once they start to get on a roll, they just keep going. And it's nice to see Joe Ellis Grewal getting 6 wickets as well for Wanstead there. One of our guests on our show last year talked about the national T20. They were one of the shocks to go out to the national knockout for me a few weeks ago. But it's starting to now find that cream starting to rise to the top. And we're starting to see what's happening across the leagues, aren't we? That's it. End of week 5. And we've got the most exciting news of the lot. I've been waiting to be able to say this for quite a while now, because it seems to have been taking forever. What's special about next weekend, Mr. Newsom? Can you think what might be special about next week?
No.
How about if I told you we actually have next week the 33rd Premier League in Northamptonshire actually gets going? They've messed about with T20s and friendlies and da-di-da, and they managed to do a Northern Pyramid. Last year started on the bank holiday weekend. The Northamptonshire Premier League gets started this weekend on the 23rd of May. That's quite late.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine if the weather's been a bit iffy, which I suppose it has, but it's not been too bad. So I think everyone, after those 2 really dreadful years, everyone's kind of thought about shifting things around, and some leagues have gone, no, won't bother, and other leagues have gone for it. I don't mind, but I do quite like the T20 in the middle of the season, just to give everyone a bit of a break. But we'll see what the feedback is from Northants. But yeah, good to see him back. Hopefully everyone's up and running. I suppose all the pros will have arrived, but maybe they'll end up leaving early because they'll have other gigs if it drags on in September. So absolutely.
Well, they will be one of the leagues that we talk about next week. Of course, we've had to wait, so we will talk about the Northampton League next week, together with a couple of 3 other leagues. We're just grouping them at the moment into various groups to make sure that we can get through as many as possible, and then we're up and running. 33 leagues, the national knockout down to the last 64. It's now all guns blazing till end of August.
That's it. Exciting times.
We just need one more thing.
What's that?
We need the weather to be a bit more consistent.
It's all right. Anything, look, after those 2 years where it was, we're all basically ready to pack it in, I think this is fairly normal, isn't it? It's just a bit chilly. So we've got some nice weather coming this week. I just want to enjoy it. Exciting time.
Good week ahead for us, cricket-wise. We've got lots going on. And for those who listen to our interview show, listen out for a little chat with our friend Tom Scully from Cricket Mentoring this Friday. Tom's coming over. He's been touring around Europe on a bit of a holiday at the moment, but he's coming over to head coach at Crouch End in the Middlesex League for this season. But while he's over, he's taking Cricket Mentoring on tour around the whole country. That old phrase, he will be coming to a cricket club near you, without a shadow.
He will. He will, yeah. That's interesting. There's a few near us, so we'll certainly pop down and see him. And he's got a lot of really interesting things to talk about, hasn't he? He's got a different view on many things in cricket, and has obviously got the performances from his stable, shall we say, to back it up. So yeah, he's a very interesting guy to listen to.
Absolutely. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media and subscribe to us on YouTube or your podcast player. And if you want to leave us a review, we won't say no as long as it's 5-star.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Absolutely. Catch you later, mate.
Cheers.
Thanks for joining us at the Premier League Cricket Club. We'll be back soon with more from the world of Premier League and NCCA cricket. But in the meantime, don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review and follow us wherever you get your socials. Or maybe check out our website, premierleaguecricket.co.uk, to stay updated. Until next time, have a good one.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Sports Social Podcast Network, the biggest voices in sport. Let's take a look at some of the lineup. The Upshot.
The 1930 World Cup was absolutely mental. The refs wore suits and the Romanian team was selected by the king.
Football Social Daily.
The fact that he blatantly just ignored him when he came off the pitch was just horrendous man management.
Stretford Paddock.
For the midfield, this is like one of the most defining summers in probably like a decade.
All on Europe's biggest sport podcast network. Find your next favourite sport podcast. Search Sports Social Podcast Network and listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Sports Social Podcast Network.
Verified comparison at content.sport-social.co.uk/comparison.